Yo, welcome. Look, it's Thursday, so y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what we doing. It's Thursday, so it is the internet radio show without no name. We ain't got no name. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, all our loyal viewers and listeners. I'm your host, Boots. And, of course, you see a lot of new faces around the table today. Shawnee, her old stink ass at the Dave Chappelle, so I wanted to go, too. But the tickets was like $1 million. $1
million?
I heard they was at least like 3 for Dave Chappelle. I mean, that's my guy, but that's a bit much.
Maybe back when the Dave Chappelle show was on.
But true. But a couple people I know that have gone said the show was actually amazing.
Okay.
So Donnell Rollins opened up. So shout out to Shawnee. Shout out to Miss Ashley Brooks. She should be on the way. So we be here when you get here, sweetheart. But I want to introduce my guest. And so, actually, by default, you became my special co-host. That's the co-host seat.
Look at me.
So we have Miss Kiarra Sandoval in. Did I say your last name right?
Yes.
I should know that.
You should.
Kiarra here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so most people know me as Kiwi. It's a high school name.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Because I was all in your business at the office place, so I didn't know.
Boots and I used to work together, so everybody knows. So we don't work together anymore, but we still stayed in contact. So I'm from the area. I grew up here since I was a little girl. And right now I have a podcast. Well, I'm a co-host, on a podcast called the Driftr podcast, the Driftr Travels podcast. And my co-host and I talk about anything travel related and anything related to miles and points.
That's so you, because this woman here, she be in Dubai somewhere, the south of France, backpacking in China or where. I'd be like, goodness, but that's you living it up.
I haven't been to China yet, but that's on the list.
See, there you go. That's how you supposed to live your life. So I definitely commend you on that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for spending time with us this evening, chopping it up. There go that name again. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. And so we also have Miss DeJuan Bruner in the house, someone that I've known for the better part of my life. Actually, low key, I think I might have been her first boyfriend ever in life.
Whatever.
Low key, I think that might be it when we was like 13, 14, somewhere around there.
What?
I think I might have been, but I can't remember.
Don't put rumors in the street, Boots. Don't do that.
But no, what's up, DeJuan? Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for inviting me.
And so, one thing that I think I guess I probably did know this, or I forgot. I didn't know you were originally from Alaska.
Yes, Fairbanks, Alaska. I'm a military brat, mom and dad in the Air Force for 20 plus years, both. And so Alaska was like their first stop after they met.
That's where you were born.
That's where I was born.
Okay.
Raised overseas in Panama.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, but then I got here for high school, and that's where we met.
Fort Wise. She came to Fort Wise after Alaska, Panama, then good old Fort Wise.
Some other places.
Well, okay, yeah, that's what's up. Well, thank you for coming on through.
Thank you.
And then the brother at the table. This is my brother. Like, we don't have the same mother and father, although I call his parents mom and dad, and same for mine. But this is my brother. This is my big brother. This is one of those dudes that kind of, coming up, because he's a little bit older than me, but coming up showed me how to be a man in a lot of different ways or whatever. So definitely proud to have this brother on the set. Ahmed Mitchell.
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm hanging in there, just trying to make this radio thing work or whatever.
So you're doing your thing?
Yeah, so Ahmed is also a DMV native. He is also the founder and writer of Heart of the City Films.
Right, that's right.
And he's also a boxing instructor for Demigod Athletics. So tell us a real quick thing about Heart of the City, because I think that's very, very interesting. I've been, of course, I've been in on it from day one. So give us a little bit of background on that.
Well, we do local films. I'm a writer, so I've written several screenplays, The Guarantee, the last ones. I'm currently working on one with 87 Entertainment. Shout out to my man G-Mac, 87 Entertainment, called A World Apart, about racism in this country, taking place around the Colin Kaepernick stand last year. So
that's what's up.
We're going to fool with that a little bit.
Cool. Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up. So a question to you, with your dad being a military man,
yes.
What is his feelings on people making these protests against the national anthem, Colin Kaepernick, and all that. Can you let us know about that real quick?
Well, my father passed away
Oh,
last year.
mine
So-
did too. I don't know if
and
you knew
so-
that as well.
Right, and so he was lucky enough to not even deal with this Trump stuff.
Well, what about
any
your
of that.
family as a whole, being a military family?
You know what? My mom, my close friends, we all support Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
I think that it's his right, and I think that a big part of being able to say what you want to say is protesting and being able to have your viewpoint. I don't think that anything's wrong with the way.
Right. Okay, I appreciate it. Well, definitely rest in peace to your dad. I know he's looking down on you, happy, like my dad is as well. So that's what's up on that. So we ain't got no name. So I love that name for this show. We ain't got no name. It kind of happened organically, but it's been a little grumblings that it wouldn't be such a good name for advertisers and sponsors, because that's something that we strive to do, is have advertisers, business owners to come and, we can do commercials for them and give them advertising spots during the show. So what do you guys think? Let's say you had a business and I came to you and said, hey, would you be interested in, sponsoring us and maybe buying some advertising time on the radio, while we do our show? Would the name kind of deter you? Would it be like, oh, okay, that's kind of catchy, or what?
Not at all.
What you think?
Not for me. Yeah.
We ain't got no name.
A couple people said that. A couple people who don't really have any firsthand knowledge of the show or anything, or me, I can see why somebody's saying, I don't know. Maybe they don't want their business associated with a name like that. It's very quirky. It's different, but I don't know. But I say all that to say that we still have this contest opening up to get people to help us come up with a possible new name.
Yeah, I think
we
that's a
might
good
stick
idea.
with We Ain't Got No Name. We might, adapt a new name. I've been floating around the name of Chop It Up in my head. Chop it up, man, he was chopping it up, that type of thing. But that's basic.
It kind of sounds like a lot of other podcasts that may be out there.
Right, it's cliche.
Right.
So,
Well, you could also make We Ain't Got No Name kind of like an acronym.
WAGNM.
Right. So that's,
Wagon.
Right. And that's kind of like Martin, WGP. So
right,
you can do that as
exactly,
well.
exactly. So I don't know. So if you're tuning in, if you're listening, give us some help. If you got any ideas for some new names, let us know. And if we do pick a name from a viewer, we'll allow them to come on the show, be a guest, and just talk about how they came up with the name or whatever. But that kind of leads me into the whole gist of this radio show. We just want to make it as interactive as possible with people. Like all of you guys, y'all my friends. We friends on Facebook. We talk about stuff. We debate about stuff. And so I kind of wanted to bring that element to the internet radio.
Okay.
Because we all enjoy a healthy debate.
Yes.
We all enjoy, going back and forth, definitely on
Some
men
most
and
with
women
another.
topic. Right. You know me.
Oh my
That's
God.
my MO.
I have stories for days.
That's my MO. So, so that we want to bring that element to RIP Radio Network and to We Ain't Got No Name. So, definitely, if you feel like you got something to say, you got, you want to get some things off your chest, or you want to ever be a part of the show, just holler at me on Facebook or whatever, and we'll get you on. And you can also call in 301-288-3100, 301-288-3100, and actually be a part of tonight's discussion.
Okay.
So we're going to get right into it with the first topic. So the first topic is kind of geared toward the ladies, and everybody laughing because they done already heard it. But it's kind of geared toward the ladies.
I'm just going to listen to this.
The fellas can chime in. So ladies, let's say you meet this guy. He's handsome, nice looking guy.
Let me take a drink first.
Nice looking dude. He got himself together. He got a nice career. He respectful. He cool. He funny. All that little crap y'all think y'all want in a man or whatever. But in a conversation, he happens to tell you that one day, way back in college or years ago or whatever, he actually had sex with another man. Not necessarily he had a relationship with him, but he smashed his homie or the homie. Is that a deal breaker? Would that be a deal breaker? Like, I think that there very well may be a bit of a double standard with how we view bisexual men, bisexual women, or even gay men and gay women. But initially, if that happened to either one of you, you both are single ladies, would that be an ultimate deal breaker for you?
You already know the answer to that.
Okay, I was gonna say for me it would be a deal breaker. I don't think that I would be comfortable with that with someone that has.
What if they only did it like one time?
You said one time the first time.
I just, I think I would always in the back of my mind think that that's something that,
Could
he
happen
may,
again.
that he may experiment with again. People may say, "Oh, that's being insecure," but I mean, with heterosexual relationships, women all the time are insecure about their man or their guy looking at another woman.
Yeah.
So I think I would feel that way a little bit. So, and not to say that it's wrong for those who would partake in that, but it's just my preference. I don't think I would be able to be fully into that type of situation.
How about yourself? I already know what you're going to say, but I want to hear it in your own words.
That's an absolute deal breaker for me. I would be like Molly on Insecure. Like, I can't handle it. I couldn't do it. Like, I have a problem. Well, not a problem. I already have to worry about in the back of my mind about all the women in this area that probably come at you or want to date you, about you trying to get with any other woman. I don't want to have to worry about, you going out and possibly being attracted to another man. Like, I don't want to handle that stress. And I also I appreciate his honesty, but that just won't work for me. And I would have to break it off. And to answer your question earlier, yes, there is a double standard as far as bisexuality goes. If a woman tells a man, when I was in college, I used to mess around, or
He
I
gonna be turned
experimented,
on.
he's gonna be like, oh, okay, yes, all
He
right.
probably gonna be turned on.
And that'll be fine. But
Crazy.
like your question, if a man ever came to myself, that would not work for me. I just couldn't do it.
Well, the reason why I kind of brought this up is because on Facebook this discussion came up, and I was shocked and amazed by how many women was like, yeah, I mean, I would date him. As rough, as hard as it is out here to find a good man,
I knew you were gonna say that.
I would date him. His pickings are slim out here. I would da. And all I merely said was, I was like, wow, it's shocking and a little disappointing.
How old were these women?
Our age.
Really?
30s, 40s.
But I think a lot of people are trying to be a little bit more open, about certain things.
But it's
and I'm not saying that that's
That's true.
a good thing. But people are open to people. Not to say that it's a mistake, but people make mistakes all the time. I don't know if that's a good example, but you think of it as, okay, they were experimenting or whatever. You don't want to miss out on an opportunity with a special person just because they indulged in a little same on same.
Nah.
I'm just saying that's just probably, I'm not paraphrasing for the ladies that responded to you and said they would be open to it. I'm just saying that people are more so now open to a little bit of possibilities, especially as we're getting older.
Like I said, not only was I shocked that so many were accepting of that, but like I said, I commented and was like, wow, I'm shocked that so many women would be accepting that. And honestly, it was a little disappointing. As a heterosexual black man, it was a little, I ain't gonna lie, judge me if you want.
Why?
It was a little disappointing.
I just want to know why.
Because it feeds into, see, like my boy Ahmed said, we go to another place when you go here. But it feeds into the acceptance of the feminization of our men.
Okay.
Completely agree.
And it makes it almost acceptable for our men to be like women and to not be men. In my opinion. it's bad enough that thing is being force fed to us through fashion, through music, through TV,
Media.
movies,
Definitely,
and
definitely.
everything else. But now people are so accepting of everything. Like there are no rules.
Right.
There ain't no rules for
It's a
nothing.
major
Right.
sense of entitlement. It's just like, if I want to do this, then I'm gonna do it, and you have to like it. That's the other thing. It's like,
Yeah, and if you
have to
don't like it,
right, there's
you're
something
evil,
wrong
you're a
with you.
problem,
Right, there's something
you
wrong with
judging,
you.
don't judge me, and all. Like, shut up. Shut up. I just.
Well, I think another reason why women are probably starting to feel, say it's okay is because we, single women, we get told all the time, well, you got to try something new. You
Yes.
should date white men. You should date Hispanic
Yes.
men. You should date short men.
Who tells y'all that?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Who
You know how many
tells y'all
times
that?
You've told me. Oh, you
Oh,
should
I've
try
never,
something.
I've
No,
never,
no,
not another race or nothing like
no.
that.
So you told me you gotta go
Oh,
outside
absolutely.
your realm.
Absolutely.
So outside of your realm could be another race, a short man, a tall man, maybe a man that works blue collar, maybe a man that's
Right.
in jail, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
someone
Lowering
that
your
may have
standards,
dealt
all
with
that
men in the
other
past
stuff.
is
Exactly.
also
That's-
into that. That's
that's-
how it is. I'm just telling you. Once you get over 30 as a woman, your family, even your doctor, are like, okay, now, so what are we gonna do?
Yeah, what's the
Wow.
plan?
Have
Really?
What
a
is the
baby.
plan?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
the worst feeling when you go to the doctor.
The doctor.
For your annual.
Mind your
she sits you
business.
down, right? And
Yes.
she's like, so I see you're over 30 and you don't have any kids. So do you plan on having any kids? Of
Let me
course I
give you a
plan on having
referral.
kids. Right.
To go freeze those
these are your
eggs.
options. Blah, like you can freeze your eggs.
But then that, I
blah,
guess
blah.
that's protocol for the, because.
But what I'm saying is, it's so much pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then you get, well, why aren't you married, or why, what's wrong with
What's
you?
wrong
I'm like,
with
why
you?
does something
That's-
have to be
yeah.
wrong with me?
What's wrong with you?
Why does something have to be wrong with me?
Yeah.
So
What's your
that's a
take?
whole other lane.
What's
We
your-
can talk about
I
that.
keep on hearing him
What's
say,
your, what's your take on it? You've been grunting over there. What's your take on it, bro?
I mean, I heard her say, try something new. That's understandable, but what about self-respect? and
No, I
self-esteem?
agree with you. I agree. I'm
I
just
mean, you
telling
say
you
try
why some
something
people
new.
would say that.
Yeah.
Why, for our people, something new has to be something that we don't really want to do or
Right.
are not raised to do? We're the black rules in the black household. That back when we were young, we had black rules. Now we want to be with everyone else
Right.
and have their rules and adjust to them, and it hasn't worked out for us. So I agree with y'all.
Right.
Yeah, I as a matter of fact, if I was single and I met a woman and in conversation she said, oh yeah, my ex-boyfriend, and yeah, he told me one time that he had slept with a man or whatever, that might be a deal breaker for me.
Right.
That might be a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
And like you touched on, there definitely is a double standard as it relates to women that are bisexual and men.
Absolutely.
Right.
But, and I will admit, I kind of conform to that stereotype a little bit. However, I'm not one of those men that get, excited over women together or women.
I think it's kind of a
all that
age thing.
like all that type of stuff. Like, no.
But see, I think you're more of like a settled down type. You're settled down.
I mean, but even when I was
But-
single.
and I think like the younger thing is the younger guys and like the internet and the media is like,
Well,
the
that's
cool
true,
thing
yeah.
is to have 2-3 women. The cool thing is
Yes.
to be with your girl, bring home another girl. That's the cool
Yes.
thing to do.
Yeah,
now.
nah.
That's
It's
all in
where
the
that
music
mentality
and
is coming
everything.
from. Yeah.
No,
Yes.
no, sure. I will admit this is pretty candid, but I will admit one of the things that really attracted me to my wife is that she said, I ain't never been with no woman.
Yeah, you told me
Leaving
that
in the
before.
young years, college years. Oh, nah.
Yeah. Some
did tell
people
me
are
that.
I
just
was like, gold star for her.
2 points for you.
Nah, yo, nah, man,
some
nah.
people just know what it is.
Nah,
or,
man.
who they
so
are.
So that kind of leads us into. Let me see what our time looking like. That kind of leads us into the next topic about men and their emotions. I shouldn't even say that leads to the next topic, but anyway.
You were saying before. I'm
So,
saying,
fellas, we often hear women say that we need to show more emotion. Men ain't.
wanna hear your
Men aren't compassionate. They can't tap into their inner feelings. They can't show their emotions. Blah blah blah. But at times when a man does show a little emotion, roll his feelings on his sleeve a little bit, women often call us soft, or they say we ain't manning up, or this, that, and the fourth. So, where's the line between the two? Where's the line between a man showing healthy emotion and being in tune with his feelings versus him being soft, or him being he ain't manning up, he ain't being a man? What you think?
What do women call emotions, first of all? When you say, I need a man that shows his emotions, what are you saying? Someone that talks to you about what's going on at his job, his family? I mean, when you say opening up, or somebody who's showing you emotions, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think
what's going on with you? I mean, what? Not necessarily what you talk with your boys about, but just what's going on with you. I mean,
like
it could be work. Yeah.
Concerns,
I mean, if you had a bad day, I mean, you know, your outlet is the club, or some spot.
Right.
Most women would want their significant other to have a conversation.
Well, let me ask you a
about
question. How often do y'all want that?
So my interpretation of emotions are completely different.
Okay.
Okay. What is it?
So if I think a man is emotional, it's someone who's just like whining all the time, complaining all the time, those type of things.
Okay.
So that's emotional to me. So I often find that, and for the men that I meet, I meet men that have no emotions, like on one end of the spectrum, and then I meet men that have just way, way, way too emotional. I've never really met anyone in the middle.
Oh wow.
So I'm definitely.
Oh wow.
I need you to stop laughing. So I'm
just thinking about all the stories we talked about.
Yes. So yeah, I just don't really meet anyone in the middle. So I'm looking forward to meeting someone in the middle, wherever you are, man.
Okay.
Well, are you okay with men crying?
At a funeral.
About what?
I mean,
What if,
Okay.
what if he's crying because, I don't know, I mean, something happened between y'all, or...
Oh, I would like that, actually. So I think one thing for some women, and I'm not going to say all, some women, a lot of times what gets some women in trouble with men, we get upset, we are loud, we're cursing, we are screaming, crying. And the man is just looking at us like...
What's wrong with you?
And you're not doing that. So then we get mad with you because you're not showing those same emotions. And that also causes fight because you're like, I'm upset too. This is hurting me. But I'm like, but you're not crying, yelling, screaming like I am. So if a man we get into an argument and I'm screaming and crying and he starts crying too, that would make me feel really good. Because I have not seen that before. I haven't had that
can't
happen.
see that. No.
I wouldn't.
I mean, it would just because I've never seen it. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah,
but if we got into a really, really like emotional fight, like I'm telling you how I feel, you tell me how you feel, and we just button heads and we cannot agree to disagree, and you tear it up a little bit, I wouldn't think anything of it. I wouldn't
think you would.
No, I would not. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
What you think?
Well, she mentioned whining, or like two spectrums,
Right.
like no emotions or just whiny, bitchy, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. My interactions with males are the no emotions. I always get men that are not or have been involved with or talk to people that just have no emotions about certain things. That
what does that look like, though?
That's very frustrating because you're trying to have conversation.
Frustrating.
It's that's another show, really.
Right.
It is because
Because don't we always say, from a man's standpoint, what's wrong with dude? Why he's so emotional? If he gets mad all the time, he gets, you know what I'm saying? So it's something that is like, in our community, for men, it's frowned upon. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with crying if something's really hurting you.
right.
Let it out.
It's a
Let it out,
human.
rather
let it out.
It's a human
rather than-
emotion.
I
Yeah.
don't want to kill you because you're trying to be a man. You know what
So
I mean?
Right.
do you think it's detrimental to our young boys and men that when they boys stop crying,
Yes.
stop all that crying,
Yes,
get up off that
I
ground?
do.
But see,
It depends
there's
on
a
what it
line
is.
too because
Yeah,
you do
it
want
is a
your
line.
I do want your young men and your sons to be thorough. You want them to You don't want them to grow up to that man that's always crying.
Right.
That like when life kick him in the ass, he's down and out and he crying and he's sulking and he can't pick himself up and keep it pushing and keep you know. And I think that is instilled when he fall off his bike.
Right.
Or when somebody hit him a little hard in pee-wee football,
Right.
or
Yeah.
you know, those type of things.
Yeah.
So to a certain degree, when my son was real little and he fall and he get to crying, especially if you over crying, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
You're not even bleeding. Like, chill out.
Like, don't cry because you like bumped your head on the wall,
Right.
and you got back up and still running.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that I think that it's okay for a person. They're just kids are just little people. I mean, they're little grown people. If not little grown people, but they're little people.
Right.
And they have feelings just like anybody
Absolutely,
else. I'm
absolutely.
not saying that you're going to be pacifying and making, what is the word for it? Pacifying. Did I say that already? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, listen, if I get punched in the chest and that shit hurts, that hurts, then if you see it when the tears are welling up in my eyes, and you tell me stop crying. It's not hurting you. You didn't feel it. You didn't get punched. So that's what I'm saying. As far as being able to express yourself and be able to show that type of emotion, I think that it's harmful for an adult to tell a child that you're not hurting.
Women want men to be emotional when it's convenient for them.
Right.
I will agree to that.
Right.
I will agree to that. If I'm
And-
yelling and screaming, I want you to be.
Right, you want
When
him
y'all,
to be
when y'all
yelling and
see a man
screaming.
crying, do y'all think, what's wrong with him?
Well, she
I
said she
very
would.
rarely see men cry.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I don't- yeah,
if
it's
any
not.
of us watch Minister Louis Farrakhan throughout the years, I'm in my 40s. I've watched him get emotional doing his speeches, and he cries sometimes. He welts up. I watched Cornel West get emotional when he talks, and he welts up sometimes. He may shed some tears, but just the pain of his people is on him.
Right,
So I
passion.
can respect those tears, because those tears are really being shed for people who look like myself. So
Right.
I don't look at anything wrong with
Yeah,
that.
but if
You crying every time somebody see you got a problem.
you crying because
You got some new Jordans.
or you got into a car accident. And not that you hurt or nothing, but just the idea that you gotta get your car fixed or something like that. Like, chill out.
Then you crying because you.
Where are
got-
those men?
'cause
I've
you
never
stressed.
met any of those men.
That will cry or something like that.
I
happen?
never have met.
I mean,
So I was 13 the first time I saw a man cry. My uncle was crying. He was a G. He was like, but my other uncle passed away. And then I think the next time I've seen a man cry is when my cousin was born. It was just like my cousin's first daughter was
That's
born. He
respectful.
cried. But I don't see men. And when I saw Jesse Jackson crying when Obama won, I kind of laughed.
I saw a
was
lot
like,
of-
really, you ran for president?
I saw a lot of
Yeah,
men
yeah.
cry
So,
when
I mean,
Obama got
I don't
elected.
really see
Obviously.
men cry a lot at all.
Yeah.
Dang, I was about to make a point about that too, but I mean, funerals.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
that
I
type of
don't, I
thing.
don't see them, so I don't know where these men are that are crying.
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I'm assuming that
Assuming.
I'm assuming. Like, okay, so you never seen a man cry? That's what I was gonna say. You never seen a man cry at his wedding?
That's fine.
That's
I don't think anything's wrong with that.
I didn't cry. I didn't.
but I wouldn't look at that as a bad thing. That's
Right, no.
That's I won't
course
say
not.
passion.
You're a
As long as
woman.
it's not boo-hoo crying.
Of course not. You're a
If you
woman.
shed-
That's my
if you shed
opinion.
a little tear, I'm fine with that. Don't just know
Yeah.
boo
Why are you
cry.
crying,
I don't know,
dog?
it's not-
Dog, why are you crying?
Because
It's a go ahead.
That is
Maybe that
a
wouldn't
beautiful
cost him too
thing.
much.
That is a beautiful
Right.
thing to see the woman that you decided out of all the women in your entire life that this is the one for you. Walking down that aisle with a beautiful dress on, and she's standing in front of you, and you're in front of all your friends and family. Y'all done spent all this money, and y'all saying vows to each other that y'all gonna be together for the rest of your lives. That's an emotional thing.
I'm not. Why are you crying, dog?
I'm not saying boo-hoo cry. If you shed a tear, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I never understood that. When I used to see it on TV, I used to be like, why they showing these men crying? Because
It could be a range of emotions.
I
I mean,
guess.
they could
Yeah,
be thinking
you
about
know,
lots of
like,
things.
you don't know
He's
his
thinking of
story.
all them other women he giving up.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know his story.
That's
Like,
what I'm talking about.
It could be.
you don't know his story. He could have had a whole plethora of women, and now
Well,
he's
that's
just
true.
like, this is
I-
the only
I
one she
guess.
holding me down.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah.
You don't know like what they went
Yeah,
through.
he could have. Yeah, he could have went through some tragedy that she
Right.
really held him down and
Right.
la la la. But
Exactly.
you know, I guess when doves cry. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we come back from the break. We're gonna get into the "I'm Just Saying" segment. So tune in, keep tuning in. Rip Radio Network. We ain't got no name.
I need your energy, love security. Can't breathe without you in my life. I need your energy, love security. Can't breathe without you in my life. I wanna feel you, hold you, touch you, please you, breathe you. I want everything inside of you. Without you here with me, I'm left empty inside, and I have no one else to blame but me. If it wasn't for insecurities pushing you away, you'd still be in my life today. My heart doesn't beat the same. I can't seem to breathe again. But life is a funny thing. I need your energy, love security. Can't breathe without you in my life. I need your energy, love security. Can't breathe without you in my life. You remember when our nights would turn to day and I would softly call out your name. You felt so good inside my love. I never wanted to let go until that sad day. If it wasn't for insecurities pushing you away, you'd still be in my life today. My heart doesn't beat the same. I can't seem to breathe again. But
Welcome back, welcome back. That was a friend to the network, Miss Nina Soul, with her song "Insecurities." So definitely shout out to her for that. And also, and this for y'all, you guys too. If you guys know anybody that's local artists, whether they rappers, singers, what have you, and they would like to showcase their music, let us know. Especially if they like on YouTube or they got SoundCloud or something, we'll play their music. And we almost got to because we do like Facebook Live and stuff. You know, we can get shut down for that because we're not supposed to
don't have
play.
copyright or
Right, won't have the copyright, won't have the licensing, whatever. So, shout out to my man Magnus who comprised and produced our opening theme music and the closing. Hopefully, we're gonna be getting with him to incorporate a new. I think I might rap
A what?
on our new. I think I might rap.
He said, say
I
what?
think I might spit some bars. It's like, nah, I can't rap, man.
Whatever. You been at home practicing in the mirror. Don't even act like that.
But nah, so shout out to Nina Soul, Insecurities. Appreciate that, sweetheart. So, we're going to get into the next segment of the show that I like to call "I'm Just Saying." And so it's kind of a scenario, question of the day type of thing. And this is where things, a lot of times, we turn it up a little bit, especially the debate level of the show. So we got a scenario for you guys this evening.
Okay.
So let's say a man and woman, let's say they married, maybe they cohabitating, whatever, they together. And
No.
let's say the
You
man,
cohabitate. You're not married.
okay,
Sorry.
all right, but either or.
No, okay.
But let's say the man makes, and we'll get into why that as well may be
Right.
important to this. So let's say the man makes around $75K a year. yeah, that's okay, whatever. But the woman, she make about 100. She's doing pretty good. She make about 6 figures or whatever. How much of the household bills and expenses should each person pay? I mean, should the man automatically pay the majority of the bills or whatever? Do you break it down on who get paid the most? And does it matter if they're married or if they just living together? So we got a lot of variables we can discuss here.
Definitely.
But generally speaking, what you guys think?
I want to hear the men's point of view first.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Well, I don't believe that two people should have just two incomes anyway. So, if I'm a man, if I make $75,000 a year from one job, I'm gonna do some type of part-time work to get some more income in. That's just me.
Or business or something.
Business or whatever. So, I mean, we can go 50-50. I got no problem doing 60-40 if that has to be done. But if I'm doing the most of the bills, is she gonna stack some more money? We're supposed to be stacking too. So, it's a whole bunch of variables, like you said. I mean, it gets complicated. We do about like 60-40 in my house. But that's just, if the rent is $1,000 a month and we live together, cohabitating, married or whatever, I would like to pay about $600 a month of the rent, just to take pressure off of her, and so we can, stack a little bit of money. So
Okay.
That's just me though.
I gotta go next.
Yep. I said so.
All right. So, generally speaking, I don't think there is no set way this should be set up.
I agree.
I think it's something that has to happen that can be different from couple to couple to couple, person to person to person.
Exactly.
But if we're talking generally here, I think that to a degree, it should kind of come down to who make the most money. If one person, I don't care if the man or the woman, but if one person makes a considerable more amount of money than the other person, I think, quite naturally, I would imagine that they will probably end up taking care of most of the expenses, however you want to break that down, most of the financial responsibility. Just because, and then you decide what that other person is doing with whatever excess money they may have coming in. Like you said, are you stacking or whatever? My issue is when people, specifically women, just automatically think that the man, he got to do this, and and you hear women say, yeah, and I'm gonna take care of the kids and stuff. Girl, lady, you 40.
What does that mean?
You don't.
What does that mean, though?
Odds are you don't have babies or little kids that you have to take care of.
I can have a
One would
baby
hope.
at 40.
Yeah, yes, you
That's like
can,
my
but generally
ovaries.
speaking. So that's kind of my take on it. I'm interested to hear what you ladies have to say about this, especially
Okay, so
you.
I have two different perspectives.
Oh,
Number
Lord.
one, if you're cohabitating, then it's 50-50. All
Straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle is 50-50. That's what it is.
Okay.
For me personally, I'm not living with a man until we're like engaged and we set like a date for a wedding. That's just me personally. I just have to throw that out there.
So real quick, so
I'm living with one man and I will not do it ever
So
again unless I have a real commitment.
So
from
unless and a real commitment is either already married or engaged. So you already got the ring.
Right. So if we get engaged and we set a date, then I have a serious commitment from you.
And then
I
you
will
move
live.
in.
Yes, because I've done it before, and it's like one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
All
a
right,
whole
so-
other conversation.
Right.
But
So if you married,
right, if you married, then I just feel like it's our money. So what I would do is we would come up with a budget, a financial plan, and we will set aside a certain amount of spending money for each person. And I think it should be equal. Like you get $300 a month, or every 2 weeks you get $300 every 2 weeks, and the
It should
rest of
be
the money
equal.
goes into the pot.
it should be equal regardless of who
But I
makes
just feel
what.
like you guys are a unit. You guys are a unit. You're married, you're a unit. So it's ours. It's not they.
I
It's not
agree.
yours.
I absolutely
ours.
agree.
But I feel like you do need to have separate accounts because you don't want to have to I don't want to have to call you and say, hey, can I buy this $20 nail polish? Can I buy this? Can I do this? And you don't want to call me and say, hey, I want to buy these J's. I want to buy this new, this new system for my car. Like you should be able to buy that. So I just feel like we should set a budget and X amount of dollars is my spending money, and the same amount of X amount of dollars is your spending money, and the rest goes to the house.
But even with that, no matter how you slice it, somebody's still going to be paying more.
And I'm okay with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with that. Like,
so if you pay more, you good. So
I'm okay with that.
if you put in $2,000 every month to all the expenses, and he only putting in $1,200, you okay with that?
Because it's our money, and when we got married, I knew what you made, and you knew what I made. But I just feel like if we put everything in as a unit, then we know what our budget is. So look, I know I'm probably going to handle the finances in my relationship, so I know what we gonna do, what we not gonna do, and I like to travel, so I know what trips we going on, what trips we not going on. So I'm okay with that.
Well, I just think it depends on the couple. I really haven't had that experience. I wouldn't say that I'm well versed on that particular topic, but I know that if I was in a relationship with someone and they made more than me, I would expect that they would put more into it, because the other variable is what I'm doing outside of the financial things. Who's going to the grocery store, who's cooking, it's a partnership. So where you may be, financially holding it down, I'm holding down the home or whatever. So
you cooking and cleaning every night. So if he paying the most, he should never come to a unkept house.
If that's my part, I mean, I'm not. But we're not talking about roles. I'm not talking about specific roles, because I do know people who have been in relationships where the man does that part, and so that happens. But what you got to say?
He was like, "Nope."
I'm just saying.
My dinner ready when I get home.
I'm just saying. No, I think that it depends. Like I said, I think that it. I don't think that there's one set rule. I think each individual couple makes that decision when they, are dating, or you said they're married. But when they're talking about relationships, I think that's a big issue in a lot of marriages, the money.
Yes.
And so
and you need to discuss that first.
Right. So that's important. And if that's something that y'all ain't, on the same line.
The thing is, something that I've learned and still learn. You discuss things, you come to an understanding, but those things change after 2, 3, 4 years.
Right. Of course.
Right.
So it's more of a mindset versus a rule. It's just kind of how you view things. Right. I feel like I honestly kind of like the last topic we talked about. I think women often, not to bash women, but I think women often want things to be kind of old fashioned when it's convenient for them.
I agree.
So a lot of women, when you talk about, I'm about to tell you. So a lot of women, when you talk about this specific topic, they say, "That's how I was raised. That's how my daddy was. That's that's how all the men out there, they paid the mortgage, they did this, and the white But they surely want to get paid like men. They surely want, the progressive.
Why shouldn't they get paid like men?
If you know what I mean, as far as
I don't.
No, as far as so as far as women saying I want old-fashioned ways. But an old-fashioned way is that men get paid most of the money. Men have the most prominent jobs.
That doesn't mean that's right, though.
Okay, but it's a
double standard.
It's that when you say I want this old-fashioned whatever in this, but not in this. Like, okay, so you expect a man to pay the most money. I mean, to pay all the expenses, be responsible for all the expenses. But you want to get paid like a man too. Like that whole mindset it's just not.
What if you're doing the same exact job that the man does? So if I'm an engineer,
then we should be paying the same.
So if I'm an engineer and you're an engineer right next to me, I should get paid less money because I'm a woman.
No, we should get paid the same amount of money, and that should also translate into the home. I shouldn't just pay more just because I'm a man. You're making the same money I'm making.
I agree, but I'm just saying. Like,
right, so I'm definitely a believer and supporter of everybody getting paid. You get paid
equal
for
wage.
what you equal wage for whatever job it is and whoever's doing it. But that should also apply to paying bills. It's equal expenses, equal expense paid or whatever.
Well,
It
I just feel
shouldn't
like our
come
relationship
down
will
to what your sex is.
Well, I mean, a lot of girls are daddy's girls, right? So they're used to their fathers taking care of them, taking care of the house, being the provider. So that's all that they know.
If they're daddy's girl,
Right.
Because there's
right.
a lot of
If
women who
they
haven't
daddy
been raised
girls,
by.
right? 'Cause I have no experience with that in my whole entire life. So, you know, that's what most women see. My daddy took care of everything, and my daddy paid the bills. My daddy drove my mom everywhere. My daddy opened all the doors. He did this, he did that. So that's all that they know, and if that's ingrained in your brain, then that's how you're gonna think.
But I don't even think
I'll
it's
say that-
always that though.
I was gonna
think
say
it's kinda-
for women that didn't have their fathers in their life, you know, maybe the man paying for this and that is something that they relate to as security.
it's called entitlement.
No.
I wouldn't say entitlement.
Wow,
Absolutely.
how so?
Because there are a lot of women that feel like that women in general are entitled to having a man take care of them and take care of them.
I'm sorry.
So you don't think that growing up that for a lot of young girls growing up that is something that is by society standards ingrained in a woman that girl, you better meet a man, he got money, he gotta have this, he gotta have that, so you da 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 da, like that is
I
a
don't
real
feel like
thing.
it's entitlement though.
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's-
No,
antiquated, though.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
I don't
think
feel like
that's
it's
the right
entitlement
I
word.
don't
at
think
all.
that's really.
No,
I
not
mean,
entitlement.
I don't think that's the right word.
Yeah, not
I
entitlement.
don't.
But you're talking about how the things used to be. You know, if you're taught that, I mean, that's something that you probably are going to believe or go with. But I mean, if you have a different perspective, and when I say by different perspective, if you had a different lifestyle, like I was saying, for those women who haven't had the father figure in their house, you know, they may crave for, like I said, security.
Right.
And so you doing that means you love me as well. And
Right.
so that shows
Absolutely.
you know, some security. I know for me, I have my father in the household, you know, that's, to me, security is
Right.
a big thing. And so not necessarily that I expect the man to be doing everything, but I do want a partnership where we
Absolutely.
have a discussion and talk about, you know, what's fair.
Absolutely. I mean, I keep forgetting points that I'm about to say, and I forget. It'd be good too, but I just think that I mean, I do think that some people have a feeling of entitlement, and I just think that at the end of the day, like I said from jump, there is no set way of doing this.
Right.
There's no set way of doing this. It's no rule book on how it's supposed to go, and it definitely shouldn't be based off of the anatomy of each individual.
Right.
No, I agree with that. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many different things going on now. Like, what if your mate has children, or what if your
Right.
mate, what if your mate is trying to open a business? What if your mate is, made some bad credit decisions in the past? What if your mate has to take care of their parents? So that's a big thing
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Our parents are
Definitely.
getting older.
That's
You
true.
have to take care
That's a
of
good
them.
point.
So every situation is different. There's no one set way for any couple at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And but that is definitely something that people need to have continuous discussions
Agreed.
about when they're
Agreed.
dating and getting serious or what have you. And it definitely shouldn't be something that you are ashamed to talk about or you're embarrassed
Right.
to talk about, or never because it's gonna come out one way or another.
Right, and then
If
you're also evolving
I find out early.
in your relationship.
I'm the
early.
opposite. No, I can honestly tell you that there's probably one man that I've ever dated, the man that I lived with, that knew how much money I made. I haven't told anyone. I don't talk about my finances with anyone. Like,
But you kind of have to.
why?
If you met
you
a
don't
guy,
live in my house, I don't live in your house.
No,
Why
I
do you
mean,
know my
I'm talking about if it got to the point where you guys were serious and were contemplating and having discussions about getting married and living together. You have to have those discussions.
I mean, I've
I'm
had
not
another
saying,
relationship
I'm
like-
not
like
saying
that.
you
We
have
didn't
to
talk
write
about
down your
finances.
exact annual salary.
Okay.
But it needs to be. He needs to kind of know what's going on to a
I
certain.
think
I mean,
I
maybe
agree
I'm
with
just
that.
so extra single. I haven't got to that point yet.
I agree with that. Definitely got to talk
yeah,
about
you-
finances.
You have to be candid. You have to be
Yeah,
candid.
I've only had that conversation with one man. So.
Well, all right. Well, our time is when I told y'all the time be going by fast.
Wow.
But we're going to start wrapping it up. But thank you guys for being great guests on the show. Real quick, each one of you let everybody know where they can, if you want to, look you up like on social media or Instagram or what have you.
Okay, so
And
if
your
you,
podcast
if you want to
website.
hear the podcast, we actually just finished our first season. We did 16 set recordings. So you can actually go to our website at podcast.driftertravels.com. And if you also want to join our Drifters group, you can just go on Slack and look for Drifters, and we're on there as well. If you want to hear our shows every week, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher Radio, we're on
y'all fancy.
SoundCloud, we're on Google Play or whatever that is. So you can reach us there.
All right.
Yes.
Man.
Oh, so I'm representing also Demigod Athletics. We teach athletics from speed and agility through football, basketball, boxing. I head down the boxing division of it. So I'm Demigod Med on Instagram, and it's Demigod Athletics on Facebook. So DEMIGAWD Demigod Athletics. So teaching self-defense in our communities.
I tried to hide a little bit on Facebook, but I'm D Breezy on Facebook, and on Instagram it's Dwan Like Swan.
All right. Well, you can always tune into the shows at ripradionetwork.com. Check my Facebook out for all the replays and all that good stuff. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for viewing and giving us a little bit of your time. We'll be right back in the pocket next week, next Thursday, 9 o'clock. Thank you guys again for being amazing guests.
Thank you.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Oh, one quick thing. I want to give a shout out to my Uber driver, Faisal, for getting me here.
Oh, yeah,
My
he
car
did.
was
Yeah.
up. Yes, thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
All right.
Carlton. Thank you.
Shouts.